वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Katha Upanishad 2, 3, 4. And we are on the last section, the teacher of knowledge, the god of death. If one cause of that failure, one becomes fit for embodiment in the world of creatures. One becomes fit for embodiment year without knowing the reality. You will have to come back. And if you do realize the reality, it's realizing here before the falling of that body, of your body, one becomes freed, obviously. Else, one, because of that failure, one becomes fit for movement in the world of creatures. Iha chedashakat bodhum praksharirasya vishrasa tata sargeshu lokeshu Sharirattvaya kalpate. Iha, here. There is no post-mortem, you can say, liberation. There is in a way called karma. But here you have to realize something here. This realization is not post-mortem in the sense of after you die, you might go to some place and then, oh, I realized no. The Upanishads and the whole of Vedanta insist that you still living here in this body, here in this world, in this lifetime. If one is here, is saying, Ashaka is succeeds, and Bodham is to realize. If one succeeds in realizing what? That reality, of course. And what is that reality? That reality which has its root of samsara, which has its roots in the superior, pure Brahman. And that reality which everyone is, as it were, obeying implicitly. Why? Because it's like a great fear, like a great thunderbolt. Everything is working perfectly because of that reality. So that reality, if you know it before this body falls away, one becomes freed. Else, because of that failure, one becomes fit for embodiment in the world of creatures. Yes, so that Brahman has to be known. Okay. And because we do not know it, we are living in a state of ignorance about Brahman, ignorance about the reality. Why? Why don't we know that? Because our desires, our orientation, you can say, our outlook on life has become so limited, so confined, so narrow that even if we want to, we can just throw it off. We'll have to make a great effort in removing this ignorance and removing this narrowness. Our lives have become confined to me and mine. This is what I know. This is what I want. This is what I will get. So this reality, as it were, is hidden. Who hides it? We ourselves. Because Like Swami Vivekananda said, we think and talk in vain because we are satisfied with the things of the senses. We, as it were, cover the reality with a mist, the mist of our misperception. So, this reality which is directly known, here it is said, here in this body, in this world, it can be known, but there is something that obstructs you. That is that veil of ignorance or samsara. And as we proceed to know this reality, what happens is we rip open that veil which is hiding the reality and we see it directly. One becomes freed. Now, you know what happens whenever we try to know the reality, all our past, you can say memories, of course, memories are past. There's no something of present memories. So all our memories come and try to kind of thwart us, try to take us away from the path. We want to stay immersed in God, but yes, somehow we are dragged down. Why? Who drags it? You know, there is no one outside of you that does the dragging. Some things that we have done, many times, you know what we think? Oh, I have done something. Okay, I've done something good or I've done something bad. And nobody really knows what's actually happened. I know, God knows, and God knows. We are actually setting in motion of, we do things inadvertently or even like, without proper awareness. And we are setting in motion a wheel. And as we keep on, we've forgotten what we have done. That wheel has been set in motion and it will fructify in time. So karma is an extremely powerful, you can say, double-edged sword. Either you make yourself or break yourself. That's why Swamiji said, be aware of what you do and what you say and what you think. So this web that we have spun around ourselves is of our own making. There's no one to be blamed. If something has been set in motion by me, it is rolling down. Maybe 20 years ago, even 30 years ago, that force is carrying me forward. And that is what is stopping me from realizing the truth. Somehow I'm being impelled. I may have forgotten, I have forgotten whatever I've done in my past. Faint memories, but those memories are not just faint memories. They are potent enough to stop you from realizing the truth. So, how do we then realize the truth? If this is the case, we inadvertently speak and do and say, I mean, think many things. What's the way out of this trip? The way out is again karma. It is through karma, right karma, that you break the bondages of karma. But that force that's pulling us or pushing us away from the reality, now that karma can be coupled with knowledge. And then it becomes very powerful. He's saying, Sri Ramakrishna says, well, if you take a candle in a room that's been dark for thousands of years, does the light go gradually? No, it goes all of a sudden. So illumination comes like that through the combination of Knowledge. What kind of knowledge is that? The knowledge of the self, knowledge of the reality. And this Upanishad has been pointing it out to us from various angles. This is the reality, and this has to be known. That's the reason why, if one succeeds in realizing here, before the falling of the body, one becomes freed. So the goal is freedom. What is the goal of human life? Freedom, nothing else. You think the goal of life was something else? Well, people have been pinning their hopes and pinning the goals of life in various ways, but every goal which is not spiritual has resulted in failure, has resulted in life becoming insipid, in life becoming frustrated. Even the best of people, with all the names and the fame and the money and everything, what happens is that person really happy? Forget happiness, there's no happiness in this world. As long as we have a body, there's no pure happiness. It's always pain mixed with pleasure. Inevitable. This is a law. Those people who are healthy and rich and are more happy? No. Pain and pleasure are meted out equally to every embodied being, wherever or whatever the embodied being is. It is there. Otherwise, the laws of the spiritual world will collapse if one person is happy and another person is sad all the time. It's not. So both come to you. Actually, they're not two, they're actually one. Swami Vivekananda said, pleasure comes to us wearing the crown of thorns. So pleasure or happiness comes to us first, and which is like, nectar, which then transforms itself into poison. And really, spiritual things which are kind of, you got to retrain your thoughts and retrain your words and retrain your actions. It's like poison. It's a terrible struggle, but that will convert into nectar. So, on first glance, don't take your life and the world around you see at face value. There is a reality hiding behind you and beyond the world. Try to perceive it. And that is done through karma, that is done through knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of the self. If you can do that, you are free. And if you do not, in case you do not, then he's saying, because of that failure, one becomes fit for embodiment in the world of creatures. Well, this is the world of creatures, not only human. There are beings born of eggs, of moisture, of wombs, all these kind of things. So you're fit. These are all creatures. This world is a world where creatures dwell. So we are also all creatures. This world is constantly changing. There's constant life and constant death. So beings are born and beings die constantly. So if we don't, then we are fit for re-embodiment. We don't realize the truth that is. So he's saying, Shariratwaya Kalpate, one becomes fit for re-embodiment. Why? Because there are certain things that we have desired, we have set in motion. There is a movement, that impulsion, that movement, that force is going to take over and going to give you. Suppose you wanted the piece of, can say, chocolate. Well, you didn't want it so powerfully, but it is still there, working itself. That has to be counteracted. But if you keep on thinking, I'll have that piece of chocolate, I'll have that piece of chocolate, keep on reminding yourself, it becomes more and more powerful. There's something called a positive feedback. I say something to somebody, that person retorts aggressively. I say something aggressive, that person. I shout, the person shouts back. I try to hit, that person also tries to hit. Then I hit, then that person also hits. It spirals out. Everything spirals out of, you can say, there's a positive feed. It's called a positive. It's kind of a loop that is created. You just can't get out of it. So don't start any kind of loop. Don't start anything that will spiral out of control. You must do things which will lead you to freedom. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Slowly, what happens is you are shifting away from those old bondages. So you have now created another system within you, a system, and this is where, some days ago I was reading the title of a book. I never read the book, of course. You are not what you think you are. You are something else. And we have been thinking of something ourselves as small, insignificant, weak. Why is that? That Atman which is there, in that reality which is there within us, is all powerful. It's infinite. It's full of love and bliss. How could we have been thinking such rubbish? Well, due to a culture, due to whatever, due to our religions, and due to peer pressure and everything, you keep on thinking of yourself as insignificant, as small. The moment you shift your knowledge to, yes, I am this Atman, you come out of that system of bondage. So you have to start a spiral, let it spiral out of control. That which is leading you to freedom. That's why your prayers and japa and meditation and all these things are actually. So what happens? Suppose you have these old impulses, old, you can say, movements in the mind, they will be destroyed. It's called Dagda Bija, burnt seed stage. All the seeds of karma are burnt. So, where are the seeds for re embodiment? The seeds of re embodiment are these old memories. They are in the mind stuff. They are extremely subtle, but they do come out as phobias, as nightmares, as dreams, as even the way we talk and walk and everything. Our character is based on these old memories. Whatever you have done has gone to make you. Simple as that. And now this whole thing has to be kind of turned. So, what will happen to that accumulated impressions called samskaras? Those impressions, the millions and millions and millions, whatever you've seen, heard, thought, everything is kind of there. They will be neutralized, they will be destroyed by this new positive feedback. So we keep on doing. If, Holy Mother says, even if there's one small desire in you, you will have to come back. So another way is to offer whatever good, bad, everything that we have done to the Lord. I did my mistakes. I'm sorry for it. Take this back. I'm returning it back. And Sri Ramakrishna has the power. Ami Kapala Mochan. I am the wiper out of that's going to happen to you, your destiny. I'm going to wipe that out. I am a place of refuge. Now, whatever you have done somewhere here or there, what happens is you need a place where you can go and get protection. Protection. And Sri Ramakrishna is that. Okay. He says, I'm from Farastanga. That is, in India, we had the British and the French also, ruling certain territories. So there were some revolutionaries who used to work against the British administration, and to escape that the police, they used to flee to the French quarters, where there's the French dominion. So there the British could not enter there. There's the French are there. So Sri Ramakrishna say, I'm like that French quarter, You do everything, whatever you have to do, and then come here, you're safe. British law can't touch you here. So this is what. So he says, yeah, and this is a lakshana, is an indication of a person who has come to save souls. So you want to save yourself? Yeah, now start. And then you find yourself, the journey is too long and too hard. Come and take refuge in an incarnation, any incarnation for that matter. And that incarnation, as the Bhagavad Gita said, Teshameva anukampartha, I compassionately destroy that ignorance through the lamp of knowledge. Here it is. And also, I lift them up from the sea of the world. Mrityu samsara sagara, sea of death. So here you have, okay, I've been trying, not very successful here. Human weaknesses, of course, our limitations. So what do? I need help. Yeah, take the help, it's there. And Swami Vivekananda says, call out for help and it shall come. Something will reach out to you in the midst of this darkness, and who not yet spiritual. Our view is a material viewpoint. This world, material. But hidden within this material world is that spiritual world, and there are spiritual entities. We don't reach out to them. That is the problem. We see this world as, oh, it's there, it's been there. My father's seen it, my grandfather, my great grandfather, my 14 generations I've seen. It's there. It's a world. Yeah, it changes, but the things are there. It's an ancient world. We don't look at this world as a spiritual body of the Lord. And that's why we fail. And that's why if one fail, one becomes fit for embodiment in the world of creatures. And the world of creatures could be anything. So Sargeshu Lokeshu, in the world of creatures, on earth, etc. You take a rebirth. And have we been doing this? Oh yes. If we are going to, people say, from here I'm going to heaven. Oh, very good. So we say, oh, you were actually in heaven and you've come here, and now again you're going to heaven. Yeah, appear, and poof, you enter into heaven for all eternity. That goes beyond all kind of logic. To have been here, you are here, means you have been here before. In this world of creatures, over and over and over again, we have been experiencing high or low births. And we've come to a certain point where now we feel we've had enough of this traveling up and down. And now we want to Finish the whole thing. Now, what do I do? Yeah, everything, whatever has been spoken by the Upanishad, you go here and to seek refuge, and that will save you. Now, the next verse, 5. As one sees in a mirror, so in one's intellect. As in a dream, so in the world of the manis, that is the Pitriloka, world of the ancestors. As it is seen in water, so in the world of the Gandharvas. These are semi-minstrel music, like demigods, or you can say demigods, or they are the divine musicians, Gandharvas. As it is in the case of light and shade, so in the world of Brahma. Now, how is this realization? So here the commentator says, hence effort has to be made for the realization of the self before the falling of the body. For here it is possible for the vision of the self. What is the vision of? This is in the intro to the verse. And how is realization affected here? How do you see the reality here? Like you see it extremely clearly, like you would see your face in a mirror. You see reality reflected in the intellect. Wonderful. Well, if you can't do it here and you have to get re embodiment in the world of the fathers or the world of the Gandharvas. So, what is saying? It's like when we all see dreams, kind of hazy, indistinct. So, truth is realized in those higher worlds like that, indistinct. But here in our own intellect, it is extremely distinct. Another example illustration is given, like you see your own reflection in water, in a pool of water or anywhere. You see, it is even still more indistinct. The lines are not sharply defined. So you will see truth in the world of these gods, various levels of gods. You will see truth. And when you go to the highest realm of Brahma, that's a creator, truth there will shine like light and shade. It's very clear. Yeah, this is light and this is the shade. So in the highest world of Brahma, truth is actualized as light and shade. And in the world of the various gods, start beginning from the Gandharvas, truth is realized as like you see your own reflection in water. In the world of the fathers, the forefathers, the Pitriloka, as they say, the manis, you will see truth, realize truth, like it is you see yourself in a dream. Dream. Indistinct. Again, it's indistinct. And in the self, that is the Atman, Atmani, in the intellect, you will see it clear, like you have your face reflected in the mirror. This is just these types of degrees of realization are enumerated for us to understand that you are now in the best possible place to realize the truth. It's simple as that. You can get the truth and the whole of the truth and nothing but the truth. Not half truth. No, no quarter truth. No hazy truth. Nothing indistinguishable. Sharp. Swami Vivekananda, in some of his Jnana Yoga lectures, he has commented on the Kathopanishad, and there he says that the other worlds are kind of depreciated as okay, they are there, but this is the very best place. And this life is the very best opportunity. We are always, oh, uh, life is miserable, life is suffering. Yeah, but don't you realize that the great opportunity is being given to you to realize truth here and now? The best. That's why they say the human body is the greatest body in all of creation. Swami Vivekananda said, even the gods are jealous, even the gods want to re embody as human beings. Why? Because in this life, in this body, in this mind, pleasure and pain are equally balanced. Joy and sorrow, life and death, hatred and you can say love, and all these things are perfectly balanced. It is because of that perfect balance that a human body can embody. Well, if you have an excess of merit, you're born in the higher worlds. If you have an excess of demerit, you're born in the lower worlds. And we are exactly like in the center of this whole vast network of worlds, higher worlds and lower worlds. This is the perfect place in the universe. This life is a perfect life. Life for what? For the realization of truth. And that is why over and over again the scriptures are saying this life has to be given for the pursuit of truth. This life is not supposed to be wasted. It's not supposed to be used as a vehicle for enjoyment. You've had all these things in animal bodies, brute bodies. Yeah, you had it, all these things. And you've suffered and you've enjoyed also all these things. Why do you want it now? After becoming a human being, why are you behaving like a brute? You had that, it's over. So this human birth is, and you can say, a great gift for all of us. And Shankaracharya, in the beginning of one of his treatises called Vivek Chudamani, Crest Jewel of Discernment, speaks about these three things are acquired by the soul only by the grace of the gods. The body, you can say, the desire for freedom, and the grace of the Guru God. So he's saying this is Trayameva Deva Hetukam Manushatvam Mumukshutvam Mahapurusha Samshaya. So this is extremely, these three qualities to be acquired by someone are extremely rare, and they are by the grace of God. A human body, the desire for liberation, and the company of great souls. So we have all these things. And why are we now not pursuing what human destiny is supposed to pursue? Yeah, sometimes I kind of wonder. Of course, people have wondered for thousands and thousands of years. How come you are behaving like this? You're not supposed to behave like this. You're supposed to orient your life towards that and realize that truth. And that's the reason why you've given this body. Why you want to waste it? Because to get another type of human body, a human birth, is again extremely difficult. Yatha darshe tatatmani, yata swapne tata pitriloke, यताप्सु परिवददिश्ये तथा गन्धर्वलोके छाया तपोरिव ब्रह्मलोके. So, like light and shade, light and darkness, you get the, to realize truth in the highest r- realm of relative existence called Brahmaloka. A little down below, in the world of the various gods and the Gandharvas, you can see truth, but as if you are seeing your face in or your reflection in water, indistinct. And lower down in the world of the fathers, the ancestors, Pitriloka, you will be able to realize truth, but indistinct, like you see yourself in dream. Why? Because of the various impressions, the commentators, because of the various impressions that are obstructing a clear, you can say, perception. But in the Atmana, that in the intellect, truth is realized perfectly, crystal clear, like you would see your face in a mirror, clean mirror, of course. People might say, what if the mirror is 30? No, talking about a clean mirror. So this is the grade of, you can say, perceptions of truth in different spheres of existence, and this is the best. Okay, we stop here for now for questions. You just check if there are some questions out there. Looks like not yet. So we stop here for your question. We see each other next Wednesday, and tomorrow we have the Bhagavad Gita evening. This evening, 7:30, there's a gospel reading by Swami Atma Tattvananda. Yeah. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.